Here we are back at the Explorer train by Lego City. This is set number 60470. Contains 1,517 pieces. Retails for $209.99. And the set was provided by the Lego Group for review. Thank you, Lego. And remember in the last installment we did the laboratory car, which I can't find because I probably have it already packed up for review. So today we're going to be focusing on this, and so far it's not too bad. This is a very fun set to put together, and in addition we have just a few train pieces remaining and bag 11. So my goal is to film this, we'll set everything up, and then we'll do the tour and review on it. And I'm going to break this thing down into several pieces just because it's a lot easier, but it will be contained in this whole video. Well, let's begin with bag 11. Let's build it. And the reason why I'm kind of in a hurry is this wants to be a turd because I don't have a lot of memory card space left for millions of installments. And honestly, guys and gals, I'm kind of starting to get bored of putting together big sets. That's all I have. That's all I have, really. I have like 4 or 5 small sets, and everything else is just grotesquely large. And to do a set back, Lego sets back to back, it does get to you. Maybe if I was a kid, this would be real fun, but now as an adult, I have grown-up things I gotta do. Let me get all those out of there. Fine. Tear that. Well, it rolls on the floor, huh? I don't see where it rolled off to. Yeah, it's one of those little things, one of these little round tiles. Yeah, and we got a whole thing of tools. Yeah, I'm kind of just, I'm starting to get pooped working on, like, right now, and I kid you not, folks, I'm still working on the tall tower. That's how many build installments there are. It's just a lot. And that's what we're going to be focusing on here. And we did everything here except for that guy. And yeah, so by the time I get to the very last bag, I'm already worn out. And I kind of wish I can select which sets I can pick for review, because I wouldn't be grabbing big sets, I'd be grabbing more of the smaller ones. But, beggars can't be choosers. And I know some will go, well, Jay, why are you complaining? You get all this stuff. Well, yeah, but doing sets back to back, it does get to you. Maybe if you were 10 or 12, yeah, that's not too bad. As a full-grown adult with a full-time career, it gets to be a little too much. Should I grab that face or that face? Yeah, we'll just put the one that the book shows here. And then she's got a camera. Yeah, I slept kind of rough last night, but I managed to sleep. And yeah, my nephew's back at home, which I was hoping he'd be gone a little longer, but I guess that's to be expected. So he couldn't. I don't think he could handle rough camping very well. Man, there's a lot of parts for this camera here. My goodness, I mean, do we need that much of a zoom? She can be able to hold that? Imagine that camera's almost as tall as her. Yeah. And that's what she looks like right there. Pretty cool. And here's the back of the head. Yeah, pretty soon this will be the review. Oh, and she's got skis too. These minifigures, they're just giving them so many accessories that it's like, at least the set's got accessories, but I'm spending like 3 or 4 minutes on one minifigure now. It's gotten to be that bad, so I got to get these. And I need to find the helmet. Now, mind you, we're still on the minifigure. We've been here for about 5 minutes, and I'm still on minifigure parts. So we got to find a set of poles, because when I do the minifigure tour, I'm going to have to group everything. I have to do a special video for minifigures. I was going to try to avoid it. No, it's not possible now. I'm going to have to do separate videos. This video here is going to be a big turd to film, just for like a handful of views. I don't get a lot of views on these things. The builds, you know, these are kind of different. I know some people say you got to do eye-catching thumbnails. I'm not going to go on here and make some silly face like, oh my god, wow, look at this cool set I got. I don't do those goofy thumbnails, and I can't find the helmet for her. I found the visor for it. This is why I burned through so much memory cards, because I'm too busy sorting through parts that are just mostly black on the table today. It's just... And I have another tutorial that I have an idea for. I'm going to be booked for probably 8 weeks, 10 weeks just doing set reviews, because, and I'm just going to bluntly say it, Mr. Orange Man hung everybody up out here. So, I'll leave it at that, but, you know, at least I'm putting the blame where the blame's at. But the only set that came in early was the shoe, which is not getting really any views, by the way. But I've got more people asking about the friend sets. We're getting to those. You just got to be patient. I'm a one-man team. Okay, now it looks like we're doing the chassis here, and this has been split. That, so you just got to stick a plate in there. They used to make those things whole, but they don't anymore. Of course, you can always custom make these would be good for like fifth wheels or gooseneck trailers and stuff. Yeah, I do sound a little raspy. I'm just kind of tired. But I want to get this set done and filmed today so I can get it off before everybody gets back from their ventures, so I can put the table back in order. Like I said, the life of being a bachelor, leaving a mess out, is long gone. So I don't think this one's going to take too much time. It's just, like I had mentioned, though, I'm getting tired of putting together somebody else's creations. I really want to dive back into my own projects. If Lego would just send me the smaller sets, I'd be fine, you know. I'd have plenty of time, but these sets, you know, and I don't have to document everything. I would still have to spend time to build them. Okay. Although I think it'd probably be done a little faster, but then again, this channel here is actually outperforming my main, so what does that tell you? At least I'm building stuff for you and showing you how to put things together and trying to keep everything as much drama-free as possible. I'm missing one of these. It's always the last part that you can't find. So yeah, I'm pooped. I'm worn out. And it's not due to Lego, it's due to other things. I was supposed to get a haircut. Didn't do that. Every time I start planning an appointment for something, something creeps up. And I'm like, guys, if not, I'm going to have to learn how to do it myself if I need to be around here all the time. And I have little to no experience. I've read books on barbering and cosmetology just in case I ever have to do it myself. But that's the issue, though. Reading and then you got to practice are two different things. So I may have to start practicing and doing self-cuts and start basics, do basic tapers and all that stuff, and then work my way up to the complicated things. Although there's some out there who've done it themselves and they do a really good job. We got to make 4 of these. Very simple, but I just have to learn how to do it, I guess. So I'm kind of just getting this set here filmed and out of the way, and I'm just bored, not with the set, but I'm just tired of doing these big long, you know, 10, 12, 1500 piece sets. They're just it's back to back. And how many sets did I get in this last lot? There's 16. There's another one on the way. So obviously it's going to be a long summer building somebody else's items instead of my own. I know a lot of people prefer my creations because they're more realistic. You know, why does my stuff have a lot of detail? It's just because I build stuff for myself and then I share it with you guys and gals, so you're getting a good quality build. Okay, that's why. And I'm getting a bit parched. So I got that backwards because it knows I'm getting thirsty right now. And I will be right back. Okay, let's see here. Now we got to do some wheels for the bottom. I have a few of these in black. I don't think I ever have them in yellow. And remember, we're going to be building 2, so let's get going on the 2 here. I need to get more of these little axle pieces for the trains. I don't know what they're doing next door. There's always like some work going on over there, and I kid you not, I live in a neighborhood. Also, it's for commercial use too. And there's more construction out here residential wise than there is at the businesses here. So that's really kind of a bummer. Oh, these are already stuck together and they're magnetic, obviously. So now with my nephew here, he'll be up till late because he's, of course, sleeping. And I'm like, dude, seriously, everybody's tired of you being up to 4 or 5 in the morning, but, you know, what can you do? He sleeps 4 hours and he's up for 20. And I did that nonsense when I was younger, and your body can only take so much before your health declines, and you've got to make some life changes. So it's only going to get worse, and nobody wants to deal with that. Okay. But I'm been reminded I'm not his dad, so I shouldn't say anything, so I don't. And I let them figure it out. I don't know if you can hear all the background noise, but it's pretty loud out here today. Alright. I'm hoping to get this one done here quickly, and then we can start putting things together. I think this is grouped with the vehicle. So I'm thinking of doing the vehicle first. When we do this, we'll just talk about each car. But like this car here is very basic, so I may put the Snowmobile with this one here. And that one fits right in here. I'm thinking about just grouping it all together. Just grouping everything and just be done with it. So, I mean, this set here has got some good inspiration for cars. You could add make a bunch of these and put them on your train. I don't know what they're running, but it's going something's broken. But I don't know what's going on. Okay, Let's see here. Now we got to put on the tail lights, and you need 4 of them. This is one of the pieces that fails, so I hope I only need just that, and that's all I see here. If not, then I'll have to go find it, which it looks like I may have to. Go figure there. I try to keep these videos as short as I can. And yeah, unless there's one over here. And there is. Okay. I may have to start keeping my smaller parts over here. Alright. And then there's a turntable that goes on one end. It goes on a frame. I really got a bunch of these. I just need them in different colors. They're good for vehicles. Yeah, but I think I'm due for another vacation. And if my bunch says I'm not, I am. Okay, now we got to make 4 of these. Notice I take some pauses here and there. I'm marking these for indexes for the indexing in the video. And just getting this done. Honestly, I'm kind of getting pooped here. Jay, seems like you just get tired of working on sets. You do. You get tired of it when you're, it's like buying a set you want, and that's the only set you're getting. The difference between myself and somebody who just buys sets for fun is that this, I have to get them done by a certain deadline, and if I don't, Lego will contact me and say, hey, have you started this set yet? I've had it happen one time, and I'm like, listen, you sent me a bunch. One time they sent me over 30 sets. I said, you sent me over 30 sets. I'm just a single person doing this stuff. I said, it's going to take me some time. Well, can you get it done by this date? And I said, no, I'm not going to be able to get it done by that date. I said, next time send me smaller lots that I can handle, instead of just saying, hey, here, we're going to send you about 30 some odd sets. You need to get them done in 2 weeks. They were even unaware that I was working, because a lot of people that are in this thing, this is their full-time gig. I'm not even retired yet. So yeah, it's kind of aggressive after a while, but I'm just like, hey, oh, that's not going in there. So I'm going to try to get this thing today fully done and filmed with the demonstration. That's what makes trains a bit different, because it's not like, okay, I review each piece and put it on the table here. I can't even fit a quarter of the track on this. That's how big this set is. So I can't just fit it all on here. Oops. And I'm not used to doing very big sets. Big sets are fine when you only have 1 or 2 of them, but when you got them back to back, it kind of makes it not so fun. Alright, and now we're ready to put the wheels on here. These are like we've done before, just snap them in place. I can always use more train wheels. This also is a good plan too, because the back of the manual has the parts list, and I can just snag the parts that I need, the essentials, like chassis, pieces to actually make trains, and then I can just go ham with the parts I already have in my collection to do it. Obviously that's why I spin them. Okay. I think that's it for the wheels. We're getting there. So you can make a few of these in different styles for different things. But I'd like to get into train building. Well, we won't be able to get into train building until I get all these parts sorted and filmed. So I won't be able to rip this guy apart. And yeah, I'm not going to keep this one around. I got way too many sets that I have to do. And then this goes up here. I'm not going to press down on the wheels. There we go. And now it looks like we're building some kind of a handgun. So everything in this video after this installment here, this is going to be kind of lengthy because I am going to put the review in here. What are we building here? Some kind of a ray gun or something? Or is it one of those things that shoots? It's not a stud launcher. And I put it on backwards. I don't know what they're doing outside. It's starting to get on my nerves, though. It's like wow, 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 and it finally turned off. For how long, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is. But it does attach to here with that. Maybe it's some kind of a camera or something. I don't know. Maybe an X-ray machine. That does not want to go in there. There we go. It just sits like that. Oh. And no, we're not done yet. And there goes that goofy thing out there again. Alright, so now you got to take all your tools and you got to dump them in here. So we got to unbox this. Yeah, this is tools and accessories now, pretty much. And those are all silver metallic, too. So you throw all your tools, and then one bin has the drill in it and stuff. Put the watering can in there, or the oil can. Open and wrench. You get a ratchet, a flathead screwdriver, an adjustable crescent wrench, a closed-in wrench, and so the screwdriver goes in that one. So let me dump it out again. And I'm dumping tools. Boy, I tell you, I'm going to probably take me an hour to put the tools in here now. Let's start all over again. All right, let's just do it like this. Okay. This group goes in here, and this goes in here. Yeah, I'm just tired of working on sets. I have a buddy of mine that just loves doing set builds. He likes a good set build. He doesn't like building his own creations, and he kind of like, oh, you get to build sets. I'm like, yeah, it's more like a punishment sometimes. Like, oh, I enjoy that. I'm like, well, I like to build my own ideas. And okay. And then the lids have some hooks on them. Okay. And then these go in here. They just sit in here too, which is kind of cool. So you don't have to fix them down to the bottom. They just snap right in there. And that's it. And this minifigure is attached to that. Attached to the train. We'll do all that later. So the crane from the laboratory puts this onto here. And of course the crane picks this up too. That'll be in the demonstration. And of course you got to connect all that. The rocks fall down on the train. We're going to have to test this out when we're done. But, well, it's already been released. We can already look at these. And you know what? I have all these. This set here is fun to put together, but it gets very exhausting by yourself. Now, I haven't gotten to this one yet, or this one. We're working on the train right now. But the train is not too bad. Alright. So, summation of thoughts for just this section, not too bad. It's ready to go for the track, and that's what we have remaining. And so far, it's not too terribly bad. Now, my plan is after this section here, you won't notice because I'll put it in different order, is after I get done with this, I'm going to start filming sections, starting with this one first. All right. And I could either group these and put a track here, or I could do it in the demonstration and just play with it. The camera will be fixed when I do those. So I don't have nobody to help me do B-roll footage, so what I'm probably going to do here, the laboratory does run with this. I could just put this in there, but it wouldn't make any sense. And I'm thinking of, this is where I'm going to start with the review, work my way back to minifigures, or I may just do minifigures first, then start with this section, and then once I'm done with all the pieces, I will drag the camera in the kitchen, then I will set it up, tack it right after this clip, do the demonstration, which will be in the review, which will be after all these. And then, of course, the review portion will be, this one will be very last. So this set here is going to be out of the norm here. But, yeah. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I think that's how I'm going to set it up. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is film minifigures, and we'll do from that. Minifigures, I was going to keep staged here, but they have tons of accessories. It's just going to be a little too much for me. And everything except for the mountain. The mountain I'm going to have a hand cam. I may do hand cam close up on the train tracks after it's been assembled, but there's not a whole lot of that. So it's not too bad. I just got to watch memory card space on this camera. But, oh yeah, well, that's done. So where do we start with? Well, we'll just fade out and fade in a closer shot of the minifigures. Now let's get ready to put the train together, and this is the last part of the assembly. And well, we're going to have to start popping these tracks apart. And these are just held together with these little nail things. And the only easy way to pull these apart is just to pull them. And you really got to fuss with these like that. If you've got a pair of pliers, just pull the little nails out. And that's essentially what these are these. You don't really need those. So those, I'm assuming, can be discarded. I don't know, I hang on to them. And while I'm doing that, thank you everyone for taking the time to be members on my main channel. I really appreciate it, as well as for the comments and subscribers. I want to thank everyone for my Rebrickable store for purchasing building guides, and of course if you ask for a request, I try to fulfill it as swiftly as I can. I also appreciate my Patreon supporters, the ones who stuck around for a long time. You make that the only reason why I do Patreon at this point. And everybody's commented and left me a thumbs up, so if you like these style of videos, let me know. And yeah, so it's a lot better to do the shout outs while I'm doing the tracks here. So you're going to be really fighting to get these apart. Once you snap the first one off, it's not too bad. And then these things just kind of slide together like, typical train tracks if you've never put any of these together before. And here we go. And you just snap them together like this. So there should be 16 of these and 4 straight tracks. And we're going to do all sorts of stuff with this train. I can't wait to put this together. Let's get this going here and get this snapped together real quick. Now we got to make 2 half circles. Do them like that. I think that's good enough. I don't know how big this is going to be. Let's just prepare these first. So it's like 4 per quarter circle. Sorry about the lighting in here. I'm hoping it turns out fine. And I don't have a full-fledged studio to do this stuff. And just trying to snap all the parts together. And yeah, we'll move some of these train cars over here. We'll be using this piece here to guide the cars on. Okay, so it goes like that. Now you get 4 straight tracks, which is fine. So you're going to have to put 2 on either side. Now what I'm gathering is these pieces here need to face each other like that. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, that snaps together. I gotta come over here and do this one. How are we doing on the focus? Why do you think I call this setting up? Because this is technically setting up. and now it's being stubborn, huh? Now, I wonder if that string's gonna reach across here. And indeed it does. So that's not too bad. Well, it's starting to look like something now. Don't worry, we'll get everything set up here more better. And you know what I could do is put this right in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and separate that. Just kind of do that a little bit there. We haven't even got to test it out yet. We're already making mistakes. And this table is not that big. Now eventually my shop will have, or I have a mobile table that's probably a little smaller than this that I can just do this real easily. And I don't have to worry about it. Although you could just do it like that. But I'm only assuming that these are held together. Sometimes these tracks could be a bit of a chore to line up. And yeah, since everybody's been out of town, it's a little easier to mess with this now. I may have to back the camera up a bit more. Yeah, even with it zoomed all the way out. I remember there was a macro button on here. I can't remember where it was at. So, auto, menu, yeah, I don't know where it's at. There was a button in here. And well, I may have to back the camera up a bit more here, just to get the whole train in there. It's easy to zoom in. At least in here I got more space, and I don't think I need a ring light because it's not that powerful. My crude reviews. And that's essentially what that is. It's all done here. And now we got to put the cars on the track. Some people have never done this before. I rarely ever do. So it depends on how we want the train to go. I think the best thing is to have the train facing this way. And that's what this plate is for. You can just set the cars on there and they'll actually glide in there. So it takes that one. We got that out of the way. And we'll do this one here next. And kind of keep these separate until we get them all on here. And then they go together like that. And of course the other one's on the other side of the table. I gotta go and get it, huh? And there's a whole bunch of empty space in the middle here. You just have to get creative on what you want to do with that. They just snap together like that. So it's all magnetic. You don't have to fit anything. And of course we got this here. We got the camera. What do you do with this? Well, we'll just set the camera right back here. Nobody will see that. And then now we're going to do a test run before we get into the tour. Now I'm going to include some B footage on this. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet. Maybe put a B-roll footage for this to show how the zip line works and that thing. So when we do the actual tour of this, because we've just done tours on individual pieces up to this point. We haven't done the train yet. Alright, now how easy it is to turn this on. Now I'm going to take these boulders off because we'll save that for the grand finale there. We don't need those right now. I don't want to have to wait for those to do that. And yes, that is a white tablecloth. I do keep these handy when I do filmings like this. So here we go. Let's turn, we gotta wait for the light to turn green. So what I'm going to do is turn this one on here. And then the train, you just press the button on the top right there. Wait for them to pair up. And if everything works well, this thing should just go. And there we go. Uh-oh, it doesn't sound too good, doesn't it? Oh, see that plate up there? And of course you can go backwards. But I wouldn't want to do that too much. And it's only the left controller here. And the only thing bad about this is, too bad I can't hold on to the button like this and let go with it. It is kind of noisy. And then, yeah, well, we'll do the demonstration and everything here in a bit. Let me get it back one more round here. Okay, I'm hitting the wrong button. It's this red one here. Let's see here. And then we could just do that. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is there. It's not too terribly bad. And for the zip line, let's see here. We're going to grab a minifigure and do that too. It's this hook right here. And what I'll do is I'll film some B footage. And then when I'm talking about it, I'll just have the guy go down it. Alright, so I don't have to, I could just do a demonstration and then slip that in there. And I'm thinking about also doing some B footage of the train going through the tunnel too. Be kind of cool. I don't have anything like that. This is the first time I've ever really done a train set other than the Christmas train. But it's not too terribly bad for what we have here. This is not bad. Imagine putting some, now my buildings are too big, my McDonald's would take up this whole area. I do have extra tracks that I could expand on this, but you know what, we're not going to do that. You know why? Because I want to keep it all original until we're done with the thing. So these rocks do have to be on the smooth part of this tile for them to fall down. But you know what, we're not going to do that. Let me pick up all these little plastic nails that hold all these together. Now it's up to you if you want to keep these right here. Okay, now I won't keep those. And yeah, I have one more memory card left that we could use. And I still have 7 minutes on this, but I think I'm going to switch. And I'll get the other camera in here. I'm going to film some B-roll footage real quick before I begin with the tour. But that's it. So now, well, we're going to take a look at the minifigures. That's where we're going to start at right now. Let's start with the minifigures. Here we have ourselves a miner or gold prospector. It comes with the map and a set of pickaxes. It looks like he's up to no good. I like the print work for his torso, and it does go to the back. Not too bad. And I believe that she's some sort of tourist, or she could be working in the laboratory. Got a set of binoculars and print work for the back of her torso. Now some of these figures have double-sided heads, but I don't want to have to pop wigs and headgear off to get to them. Looks like we got ourselves probably an outdoor scout or laboratory guy. Here's the back. It's got a backpack. Pretty cool. Oh, you want to take a nap? You can get a bit top-heavy. Looks like we got ourselves possibly another worker. Print work front and back. Looks like this guy is some sort of medic. We've been seeing him around in a bunch of sets, especially with the unkept hair. He comes with a thermos, a mug, and a hat. And then finally we have this gal. She comes with a very large camera that's just too big, oversized. And in addition, we have a helmet and a set of skis with some poles. You get 2 of those. Looks like she's going to be skiing to a location, maybe take some photography or samples, or maybe looking for the gold prospector. We don't know. And honestly, these are a nice set of minifigures for the set. Let's take a look at the Snowmobile, or I call it a snow rover. It's more like just a large snowmobile. And this logo here is printed. That's kind of cool. And it does rest on a set of tracks. It's got a flatbed. And this is essentially the 360 spin of this vehicle. Now obviously it's scaled for figures, so here we got our gold prospector here. Take those out. I don't think it's going to be easy to drive this with those in your hands. And we're going to place him right inside here. Like so. Well, he's a bit stubborn to fit inside there. We'll put his map here in the back so the wind can carry that off for him. And his pickaxes, well, we can lose those too. We'll throw those in the back so when he's speeding off, you know, he can lose all his equipment while he gets to the mine. Next we have the laboratory. And we got a door that opens up for the interior. We'll take a look at that in a bit. We also got some grates here, part of a track. And on this side we have a crane. This is meant to take supplies off the train that will be taking a tour in a moment or two. And of course to put the snowmobile up onto the train. Got some containers, and you could remove these and put these on the hook. This part here is for the zip line. We'll have to take a look at that when we're done. So this is the place to store the zip line at. And top of the roof's got a solar panel. It's got a satellite dish and all sorts of stuff. And on this side we got a saw and a shovel. Now the top of this does remove, but this thing's kind of a pain to get off because sometimes it takes other parts with it. But that's what it looks like right there. Inside we got ourselves a little computer monitor. And we're going to take a look here. What's going on in here? So the door just kind of free stands there. And got ourselves a little coffee maker with, that could be a refrigerator, we don't know. And on this side, and yeah, this thing is pretty big. Got ourselves a little medical bag, a little place to sit. And a little walkie-talkie. That gauge up there, that's printed. All this stuff you see on here is pretty much printed. And not a whole lot of space in there, so she could have a seat inside or she could sit outside, but she likes being outside, so she's going to stand next to the track, and well, maybe for safety purposes we'll have her stand back another stud. So she's sitting there waiting for the train to come. She can load up the supplies, and this just goes right back on as shown. It's pretty seamless right here, and it's not a bad little build for what it is. Just this right here would make a good standalone set. Next, let's take a look at a portion of a mountainside, and yeah, this is a tunnel where the train can run through. We do have some greenery. And yeah, looks like someone's ready to go down that ski slope. Also got a wanted poster, so something's going on here. And we got some water cascading down on the sides, and looks really cold, doesn't it? But there's more to it than just a mountainside with an opening. Let's take a closer look. Here we got our skier, and this thing does have a lot of greenery for it being on a mountainside. Look at all that cold snow and that cold water. And here's the top here with those boulders. And what this does is there's a switch inside here that triggers this right down in there. These boulders are supposed to come crashing down, but we'll see that in the demonstration tour. And inside here it looks like we got ourselves a little abandoned mine shaft. And who do we see in there? The prospector, the miner. Maybe that's who's on that poster, we don't know. Maybe he's hiding in there. And there's nothing inside those boulders, they're just completely hollow. Here's this piece here that's supposed to go to the zip tie, or yeah, the zip line thing. Zip ties, zip line, I don't know, they're all zippy things. And yeah, got ourselves a couple of wolves. There's the other one on top right there. Looks like he's trying to climb the hill to get up to him. It's a heck of a climb, or maybe he's going to go down the zip line. And like I said, this is just attached to the laboratory. There's lots of little hidden areas in here. There's a room right above there. Really don't have access to any of this stuff. This piece here, I don't know, it just feels kind of loose. I thought it hinged out, but I think that might come apart, but I don't want to risk breaking anything. See, there's that little stick there that's supposed to push this plate over, and the boulder's supposed to fall down. It kind of blends in, especially with the mine shaft look. And that's essentially what this is. It's just a portion of a mountain, and it's isolated, so you could obviously put this in a Lego city. But it's rather on the small side for me anyways. And just imagine if I put my type of terrain in with these. And that's why I want to get into trains, just to kind of blend the two together to see how well it would be. Yeah, not too bad. A lot of stuff going on here. Next we have the locomotive. It does come with a wireless remote control. We'll take a demonstration tour of that in a bit. And nice print work, and that is printed. That is not a sticker. And I do like the way they did the tiling on the sides of the engine, which is pretty cool. And this part here does come off. Can set our train conductor inside. But before we do, let's take a look at the interior here. Of course, I got to bump into everything while I'm doing that. That's all there is inside there, not a whole lot. And he just rests right in there. He just sits inside. And of course, that's not how you're supposed to set the train on the track. I'm already aware of that, but set him right in there. How does it close up on the top? Yes, so it is scaled. And this right here is stickered, unfortunately. And this has got some weight to it. Now, while I get that back on the track here, there's a special piece for this, but, well, I gotta make the reviews harder than they are. This part here does open up on the top to activate the battery, but right here is a button you can press to turn it on. This little round tile right here. You can see the light coming on when I press that. And this does open up to reveal the batteries. So let's see if we can get that popped open there. Maybe it doesn't want to open up. there's really no way to access it without really tearing it apart, so I'm going to give up on that. And there's no easy way to get to the battery. You're going to have to peel part of this apart to get to it. And these sides here do open up to reveal some of the train. They do both on both sides. This is probably the part of the engine here. Pretty cool. These pieces on top are printed. And here's the back. And this does open up. I'm not sure what we're supposed to put in here, but I think this is more or less used for the power cord. You can probably see part of it in there. Had to stuff it in there in order for the battery box to fit in, so you're really going to have to mess with this a little bit. And yeah, setting these on the track are not that user-friendly. I never can get trains on tracks very well. You got to have that special piece to put them on there, which this set does not come with, but it does come with something similar that you can put them on there. But it's a nice locomotive. It is scaled for minifigures. Next we have the laboratory car, and the first thing we notice here, we got some cupboards. So we got our laboratory scientist, and he can store his thermos in here, but the helmet doesn't quite fit in these. And I've tried a few times. Let's try it again for just viewer awareness. Set that in there, and yeah, that's as far as that door closes. So some of his accessories can fit inside the compartments, but we could put them inside. And this is what it looks like on the back. Both ends are the same. These wicker doors do open up. Just make sure you have some long nails to do that, so you can access the other side there. Here it is on the other side. You do get two more cupboards. And this top piece does come off. See, there's another wicker door here. And taking this off could be a bit of a chore, because sometimes it will pull off other parts with it, like this. This plate is not supposed to come off with it, so you might get lucky and yours doesn't do that. So here's the interior. So I got it placed for sitting, probably a little booth, and a place with the computer. Now sadly that is a set of stickers on that, but the keyboard is printed. That's what it looks like on that side there. And our scientist can easily sit down in there. So let's make sure. We're going to leave the mug in there because he's very clumsy, likes spilling all over the keyboard. So we're just going to set him in there with this mug so he can smash that monitor when he rage quits. This does go back on. Now, will it fit with the minifigure inside? And yes, it does. Now, in addition to that, you can just take this piece and set it right in there for safekeeping. And it does go back on. Now, I like the way they did the top of this. Unfortunately, some of these pieces did arrive and scratched, but that's to be expected with Lego's quality there. But nonetheless, so this is a nice little car. This would make a good passenger car for a train. We just got to clean this up a bit. But yeah, it does glide smooth on the track. That's if I hold down in the right place. And finally, we got ourselves a flatbed trailer with some accessories. This thing here, I'm not sure what this does. This does rotate. I don't know if this is some kind of a cannon that shoots out like a net, or maybe a grappling hook. I'm not sure what this is, but it can seat our minifigures. So here we have our scientist. She can let go of the camera, and she can fit in here as shown, like that, and she can operate this. And yeah, this is all this does. This doesn't do anything. It doesn't have any functionality with it other than it spins. And on this side here, we got some tools. These do just easily come out. They're just resting in there. So some of these have some nice tools. We got some hooks. Don't depend on those. They seem like those don't do anything, except these are just meant to pick up the containers with the hook on the laboratory, so you can take the supplies on and off the train. Here's the other one. It's got some other tools in it. These can be a bit of a chore to open up. Okay, not too bad. Like I said, they just rest right in here. And yeah, it connects with the other cars. Not too bad, and these right here are printed. And just like with everything else, they easily come off the tracks. I hope that's not a bad sign. So here we got our snowmobile, and you're supposed to use that hook from the laboratory, and it rests right in here. It doesn't move at all. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know, it feels like it's ready to fall off, but maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Other than that, though, it's not a bad little piece. I just wish there was a place on this that you can store your accessories, but of course you got the laboratory car. You could use that for storage. This one here doesn't come with any. Kind of a shame. I wish they'd have done something with it. But all around, though, this is not a bad little flatbed trailer for the Explorer train. Now we're going to take a look at the train in action, and it's not that hard. You just have to push the power button here and this round 2x2 flat tile on the top of the train to activate everything. And then it goes. So here we just press the plus button, and this only works with the left controller. The right one doesn't work, so you just have to use the left one here. And then here we go. Let's see how this works here. Now note I have the rocks on the top. We're going to see those fall too. Now I have it on the slow setting right now. And yes, you are going to have to pick all those up. Or your parents will have to, and they'll probably just take them away from you. And that's essentially what it is. And then of course you can go faster. But I really don't like going fast, especially on this. I'll go back to more of a reasonable level again. And it's really not much of a train ride here, but it also goes backwards and stuff. Now, in addition to this, you can use this with a smart device to control the train. I'm sure there's more variable speeds than just tapping the plus or the minus to increase or decrease the speed. Now, in addition to that, this crane does function. You can drop this right onto this flat car here, which I'll have a B-roll footage inserted in there. I'm learning how to do that. In addition to the zip line here, we'll put that in there too to show you how that works, and it works okay. Here's more of an exploded view on this. So if I put her here, kind of a bit stiff, but other than that, it's not too bad. And yeah, it's a very interesting train, but it also needs other stuff. You can see the mountain piece. We did tour on it, it looked kind of small. Well, on here it looks very small. This looks very tiny compared to this. So it's up to the builder to add more to this. Obviously it needs more track. I don't think anybody I know that has a track that goes around in circles in their city set. But it's enough to take up a good size of a dining room table, and I'm pretty pleased with this. Now, of course, when you're done with this, you want to turn this stuff off, and you just need to turn off one here, and you just have to hold the button down, and then this thing here will shut off too. This thing takes 10 AAA batteries. You need a Phillips screwdriver to take this apart. This takes 4. The power box inside the train takes 6, so it's pretty hungry for batteries. You don't want to leave this on for too long. But for the most part, I'm pretty pleased with this build. This turned out really nice. I like it. It just looks kind of plain on here. Well, at least I have a white tablecloth to make it look like it's snow. So I'll just pretend like this is in a big empty field somewhere. So we're going to start off the review with build quality, and it's pretty strong for the most part, with the exception of the mountain. That thing feels very fragile. When I was moving around, it felt like it was going to fall apart, so be very careful with that. In addition, maybe some parts of the train will come off, like this right here we saw where this plate comes off, and the zip line here, and obviously this set is not portable. Now, a plus side of this, it is Lego City ready, so if you already have train tracks in your city and it's a winter theme, this will work. Or you can just put that mountain somewhere and have the zip tie, or you can take that zip tie off and make a crane on it. There's plenty of things you can do here for city-wise. Add more track to this and expand on it. I do have more track, but not enough straight pieces, so I won't be able to go a whole lot. I would need about 2,500 pieces of track just to go around my property. Or we would be going on a very long train ride. It would take me a day or two to set that up. It'd be kind of cool to do that, but I don't have it. I don't have access to that, or I would. And in addition, the set does offer a nice selection of parts. As you saw with the build installments, plenty of things to do with this. So you can build a train, you can expand on this, add more cars, you can make a few more of these laboratory cars, flatbeds, there's all sorts of stuff. You could add another engine to this. It's pretty customizable. And I'm pretty pleased with it. Now, as far as for build experience, it did keep my interest throughout the build. Plus, I built this in separate days. You can get a bunch of buddies to help you with, and I think it goes up to 5 people, maybe 6. So you got each car here. This is 1, 2, and 3. This part is 4. The little snowmobile is 5, and the mountain is 6. So I think up to 6 people can comfortably build this set. This would make a good family project, especially if you're all working on a city together. You got a train to put in your city. It's really cool. Now there is some negatives with this set. There is a small sticker sheet as we saw with the unboxing. They weren't too bad, but check your model. I did find a few of these transparent pieces to be scuffed and pitted. That was probably the only downside really to this set. Other than that though, I don't really see anything wrong with it. It's a nice train set. The only thing I don't like about also is those rocks, because those are going to make a mess everywhere. But honestly though, it's a nice little train to play around with, especially with the remote control. Like I said, we'll turn this back on here just to do another round of it. I mean, why not? This thing's fun to play with. It's just hungry for batteries. But honestly though, it's a nice train set, especially if you're starting out into Lego railroads and trains. But tell me what you think of this model. To me, it's pretty cool for what it is.